Shulam in Bruche. About Stamhan Schmiesen, Parsha, Korach, the need for leadership. Our day and age, this is quite an apt discussion. Now, if you open up the Chumash, ostensibly the thrust of the Korach and his Chabura, his men's dispute with Moshe and Aaron was a challenge for the leadership of the Jewish nation. While Moshe's position itself was perhaps beyond debate, after all, the entire nation had witnessed the unique relationship that Hashem had with Moshe during the Har Sinai and the revelation, and the question was, the choice of his brother Aaron as Kohen Gadol was, it seems, open to dispute. Was the selection of Aaron truly Kaviyuchel, the Eibishter's Ratzon, that was what Hashem wanted? Or was it a case of protectia or brotherly bias, keep it in the family, right? So they made a test was devised. And Korach and his 250 confederates would each bring a pan full of ketoras. Ketoras is incense, as would Aaron. Now, to bring ketoras, to bring this incense without permission, Moshe explained to them, is punishable by death. That's the way the Torah wants. So only the true chosen one, therefore, would survive the test. They're all standing there with the Shislach, with the Ketoras. And they've been told that only one person will survive, that one who was chosen by Hashem. Right? Yet, and Rashi raises this question, weren't the Korach troop, the group, inexcusably foolish to accept the test? After all, even if they were right, it's not Aaron, it's one of us, right? Only one of them is going to survive. So why are they agreeing to a test which was surely going to bring calamity to the majority of the Chevra? For the answer, we have to really go back to Parsha's Yisroi. Parsha's Yisroi, we're told, and Yisroi heard. Rashi asks, what exactly did Yisroi, the father-in-law of Moshe Rabbeinu, hear that caused him to decide to leave the comforts of his home and come to join the Jews who were sitting in the Midbar in the desert? So Rashi answers, he heard about the splitting of the Red Sea and about the war that of the Jews had fought with Amalek in the desert. Victory over Amalek, while amazing and perhaps even miraculous, is nonetheless a military accomplishment, dwarfed in comparison to many other miracles that the Jews had seen when they left Mitzrayim and traveled into the desert. There was mun every day. There was all kinds of things going on. So what is it about the war of Amalek, of all the things, that ultimately stimulated Yisrael to journey into the desert to be with the Yidden? So the Yidden explain that in fact Yisrael had already come to an understanding, and he recognized that there is only one God, that Hashem is the true God, right? He understood this before he came to join Moshe. Right? He had experimented with all kinds of religions, and he had experimented with pagan worship, and he found them all empty. Indeed, Yisrael was so convinced of his belief in the concept of that there is now, he understood there's only one God, that he felt his faith was unshakable. So, hearing of the great miracles of the Yetzias Mitzrayim, especially the splitting of the Red Sea, during which our Chazal tell us, our rabbis tell us, all the waters of the world were split. Rashi explains that. So that only served to further strengthen and reinforce Yisro in his faith that there is only one God. So actually, he felt no need for a formality of a religion. He'd serve God on his own. After hearing, however, that a Moloch attacked Bnei Yisrael, Yisrael was shaken. Peter Shire, how's that possible, he asked himself, that a Moloch could be so foolish as to start up with this nation that had witnessed such miracles and that the whole world knew about these miracles. That he did so, that a Moloch had done such a thing, forced Yisro to realize and to acknowledge that even the most self-evident truths can be disputed and discarded. And perhaps he wondered, my belief too will one day begin to waver. Why? I see such things, how do I know? Whereas he had once been convinced that his faith was immune to corruption, Yisro now concluded that in order to remain strong in one's convictions, one must have a Rebbe, a teacher, a leader, someone who could guide him in the path of truth and alert him when he'd begin to stray. And this prompted Yisro's journey into the desert to join Moshe Rabbeinu. Upon closer examination, it seems that perhaps Korach's challenge was not simply a lobby for leadership. It was a challenge for the very concept of authority. As he says, for this entire assembly, meaning the whole of the Klal Yisrael, all of them are holy. Everyone's holy. So why do you, Moshe Rabbeinu, why do you presume to elevate yourself above the congregation of Hashem? We, the children of Israel, are not unsophisticated bunch of simpletons, who will blindly follow your dictatorial leadership like sheep to the slaughter. Each of us is capable of making our own decisions and forging our own path. Thank you very much. So to them, Moshe's contention that only one of their offerings would be accepted was just further proof of his short-sighted authoritarian viewpoint. They think, you're going to say that because that's who you are, Moshe. You're a tyrant. Who's to say that only one person could offer Keturos before a God? Why couldn't everyone do it on their own? Serve up a personalized plate of Keturos? Needless to say, they were wrong. They suffered the consequences. Unwillingness to accept leadership and authority is a major reason for the state of decay in which we find ourselves today. Listen, I don't have to go far. Go look outside what's going on in the world. Things are chaotic. History is being thrown apart. People are afraid to speak. It's just things that were true and self-evident are no longer possible. The open-minded, hypo-cynical value system, virtue signaling, that permeates what we understand to be a democratic society, has presented us with a generation that no longer respects the elders, teachers, parents. I don't have to go further. You all know what I mean. Little wonder, while it would be nice to delude ourselves into believing that the pinnacle of moral decency and enlightenment will be reached when each person is free to make his own choices or formulate his own value system, the state of chaos and corruption which we find ourselves in today belies such a notion. It's an bullshit. The Gemara tells us, the Mishnah of us, first chapter, sixth Mishnah, make for yourself a teacher. The attack of Amalek on the uprising of the Korach are proof enough that a generation without accepted leadership is destined to turn into degeneration. We're living in Golus. The Golus is our difficult one. We have to understand that at least amongst ourselves, Klal Yisrael, Bnei Yisrael, we have teachers, we have our Torah, we have our Messiah. They're not there to be ripped apart, looked down upon, chastened. And that only could this could only go further and folding into a new link of our Messiah, of Yehadis, if our young understand this principle. And if we, the elders, give over in acceptable ways what that Messiah is. Aber sie sollen uns helfen, alle treffen Gesinnterheit. Mashiach darf schon kommen, und wir sollen sich kennen, tanzen zusammen in the streets of Yerushalayim, together with the Mashiach, b'mahayra b'yomayni,